Sam pulls the Passat to a stop in front of a beautiful 3-story hotel, its cream yellow and eggshell white exterior gleaming against the dark skies. A pale-skinned ghoul dressed in a gold and navy valet outfit steps into view, making their way toward the vehicle, their hand outstretched. Sam tears his gaze away from the building and double-checks the address on his phone.
The Kaiser saw, huh? Heller never had meetings in fancy places like this before.
The ghoul stops abruptly beside Damian's door and bends down, knocking rhythmically on the window. Sam sighs inwardly and unhooks his seatbelt.
Whatever, let's go, Damian.
Damian unhooks his seatbelt and follows Sam out of the car. The ghoul immediately moves towards Sam, gently beckoning him to hand over the keys to the Passat. Sam obeys and trades places with the ghoul, warning them not to scratch the paint. Damian snickers, swearing he could see the ghoul rolling their eyes ever so slightly. The two men stride through the open doors into the lobby, their boots clunking across the checkered marble floors. Sam sets off toward the ghoul manning the concierge table as Damian takes in his surroundings, noting the array of concert and theater posters lining the walls. The ghoul sets off toward a set of doors leading to a polished marble staircase. The three men make their way up the staircase, the ghoul in front. Damian's ears perk up at the sounds of dozens, if not hundreds, of people engaged in conversation just behind the wall to his right. They carve a wide ellipse around the second floor and ascend another flight of stairs, and another after that. The ghoul pauses beside the entrance to the uppermost balcony overlooking a cavernous auditorium, holding his hand out as if to invite them inside. Sam and Damian step over the threshold, immediately laying their eyes on two sharply dressed middle-aged vampires enjoying a bottle of top-shelf blood wine at the small round table in the center of the balcony. The woman on the right catches sight of Sam out of the corner of her jet-black eye. A lopsided grin spreads across her scarred face. She brushes a piece of lint from the lapel of her carefully tailored suit and clears her throat. The man on the left turns, his long and scythe-like blonde bangs scraping against his forehead. He nods briefly towards Sam and quickly turns his attention to Damian, his bright blue eyes scrutinizing him from head to toe. Damian shrinks backward instinctively, feeling entirely out of his element in the presence of the Baron and his Camarilla compatriot.
Right. Thank you two, first and foremost, for coming. It's great that I finally get to meet you, Damian.
Sam starts forward, irately jabbing his finger toward the Camarilla prince.
What the fuck?
The prince slams the table with her palm.
I'll have you know that you're sitting in my Elysium, so my presence is to be treated with the utmost respect. I am here because your Baron and I need to discuss the imminent war with the Sabbat. I hope you're already clued in.
We are. Damian is as well, thank you very much.
Damian sheepishly nods toward the prince, wishing more than ever that he had inherited the power of invisibility.
Good night, Prince.
Manncure.
Now then, what's the deal?
We're working on a temporary alliance. We've already spoken about the conditions. The contract itself is being drafted as we speak.
What conditions? With all respect, Heller, you can't just make contracts without your right-hand man.
I will only say this once. Calm down, Sam. I know you don't like this, but it has to be this way. I'll let you read the contract as well. Manncure, if you'll excuse us.
Prince Manncure nods and stands to leave, brushing past Sam with a smirk. Baron Heller gets to his feet, his posture visibly relaxing as the prince disappears around the corner.
Now to you, Damian.
Yes, hello. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Baron Heller gives the young man's hand a firm shake and folds his arms across his suit jacket.
The pleasure is all mine. I'm sorry about that, truly. I didn't think we'd need the Camarilla's help, but unfortunately we have no choice.
You're telling me that the threat is that big? Has the army grown?
Their numbers have become stagnant, but they have gained another leader. A female Asombra by the name of Vivian. The prince told me all about her.
Damian and Sam exchange a surprised glance.
She's not dead?
The Baron's eyes narrow inquisitively.
What do you mean?
The Camarilla tried to assassinate her.
Are you telling me they are responsible for this mess? Who was she with previously?
Me. When we arrived here, the Camarilla hired her to propose some kind of deal between the prince and you, which turned out to be a ruse to assassinate her.
Baron Heller averts his gaze, turning Damian's story over and over in his mind. He nods slightly.
But they failed, and now she's seeking revenge. How well do you know her?
Well enough to know that the Sabbat used to hunt her, and that she despised them for the longest time.
The Baron whirls toward the open door.
Manncure!
The prince reappears, smoothing her suit jacket with freshly washed hands as she saunters toward the table.
Ugh, what is all this shouting for? What do you need?
Is this situation your people's fault?
The prince regards the Baron with a reproachful glare.
What? Why would you think that?
One of the Primogens invited this Vivian person to a fake meeting to have her killed, but that failed, and now she's with the Sabbat and seeking revenge.
My Primogens would never take such actions without my permission. Unless...
Unless?
Do any of you know who that Primogen could have been? I have been keeping a close eye on one in particular as of late.
Elaborate.
Lady Manuella, the Malkavian Primogen. She has been acting weird ever since Vivian and her child arrived here.
Damian steps forward.
Does Manuela have anything to do with the Hound of the Sheriff?
I am unsure. Let us ask him.
A massive vampire stomps into view from seemingly out of nowhere, his hyper-muscular arms folded tightly across his chest. He leers at the guests from beneath a set of wispy white bangs, which barely disguise the series of deep scars running across his scalp from ear to ear. He clears his throat, his dried lips emitting a sound akin to sandpaper scraping across shards of glass.
Yes, my prince? Are these people troubling you?
No. Tell me, is Leia with you?
She is. She's keeping the crowd in check with me. Should I call her?
The prince nods. Sheriff Guiscard makes his way toward the guardrails at the edge of the balcony, searching the crowds of kindred below for his hound. Damian follows his gaze, noticing a tall and messy-haired woman looking toward the balcony. She locks eyes with the sheriff and immediately walks from the auditorium with purpose, the straps of her ratty black dress threatening to slit from her shoulders. Sheriff Guiscard turns back to the prince and nods.
Is Lady Manuela here as well today?
She is.
Bring her here.
Sheriff Guiscard nods and walks toward the red elevator opposite the staircase. The glass doors slide close in front of him as Leah reaches the top of the staircase, her heels clacking awkwardly beneath her. She stops abruptly upon locking eyes with Damian, abject fear washing over her like a tsunami. She lowers her head and swallows deeply as she timidly approaches the prince.
Yes, my prince?
Hello, Leia. I won't hold you for long.
Leah nods, her lithe frame visibly shaking despite her best efforts. The elevator dings behind Damian. He turns to see Sheriff Guiscard walking toward the balcony, accompanied by a tall blonde with an exaggeratedly exuberant expression.
Lady Manuela, please take a seat.
Lady Manuella gleefully obeys, draping one knee over the other and tightly intertwining her fingers. The prince turns back to Leah.
Have you interacted with Lady Manuela recently?
Yes, my prince. She asked me to meet with one of the new kindred that arrived in the city, which I found odd. I am sure you know of the La Sombra called Vivian.
Sheriff Guiscard wraps his fingers around Leah's entire forearm.
Why didn't you tell me that?
She told me to keep it an absolute secret because of some sort of favor. I am so sorry.
The prince turns back to Lady Manuela, the latter's ecstatic grin replaced by a sober frown.
When did you mean to tell me that you mingled with the La Sombra that arrived in the city and that you tried to assassinate her, all behind my back? These claims are backed by the child of said La Sombra and Leia, who set up the assassination for you. What is your response to these accusations?
Lady Manuela's face contorts with fear and faux outrage.
What? That's outrageous! I would never defy you, my prince!
That does not prove your innocence.
And their accusations do not make me guilty! They just conspired against me!
The prince turns to Damian and Sam.
Do you have additional proof?
I don't know how relevant this could be, but we found 2 bottles of Montrachet blood wine at the rendezvous point.
The prince slowly turns her head toward the Malkavian.
Your favorite wine at the crime scene. My dear sheriff, take the Malkavian backstage. I'll be there in a couple minutes. An execution is in order.
No!
prince! Please! I'm begging you!
Sheriff Guiscard strikes Lady Manuella hard across the jaw and grabs her by the back of her neck. Leah falls to her knees, terrified beyond comprehension. The prince commands Sheriff Guiscard to release her arm. Leah slowly forces herself to meet the prince's enraged glare.
As for you, Leia, I won't execute you, but you'll be cast down back to the rank of neonate. Now get out of my sight.
Leah tears her heels from her feet and races down the staircase as fast as she can, nearly taking flight around the corner as she bounds across the marble.
Now then, if you'll excuse me, I have some rather unsavory business to attend to.